I think it's fully possible. I mean, that's like an omega candle every month or so, and that's in line with my prediction that we're going to go to 1 million fast. See, even Saylor thinks so. Like, it's going to be fast and violent, no matter how you slice and dice it, right? If you say his prediction, if you take his prediction in the least violent way, that is like 10 omega candles a year, right? And that's 1 million in a year. That is the least violent thing. Anything else is utter, unspeakable financial market violence. Treat your Bitcoin as if it was 10 times more valuable or 100 times more valuable than it is. Secure it.
According to Mow, fiat currencies have a track record of dying violently. Historically, when the trust in a fiat currency erodes, it's not a soft landing, it's a crash. The US dollar, however, is a bit different. It's achieved unprecedented global digitization, intertwined with global trade, finance, and especially with modern technology. This has prolonged its life, but not permanently.
Please take a little time to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. You can also check out our other videos on cryptocurrencies and the overall digital asset space and drop your comments and observations in the comments section below. Everything you do helps with the YouTube algorithm and immensely contributes to the channel's growth. Thanks and enjoy the video.
There's discussion about will it be a quick transition off the dollar or a slow transition. I think it's actually going to be a quick transition because fiat currencies always die in a spectacular manner. It's just a question of when. And you also have to factor in that the US dollar is in a very unique position because it is largely digitized outside of stablecoins. Like, it is a digital thing. It's reached market penetration that no other prior reserve currency has reached, right? Like, it's sort of married itself with technology and ingrained itself in economies around the world. So it might actually take a few years, maybe 5 years, maybe 10, I don't know, but it will end, but it's taking longer than normally it would have. That a non-digital fiat currency would not have this lifespan. When people wake up, they all wake up. It's not like we'll start transitioning off the dollar and the corner store near your house is gonna keep taking the dollar and changing their prices to like $1,000 for a Kit Kat bar, right? It's just going to be a quick thing once that thing hits, and they'll just switch off and take Bitcoin because they can't afford to not take Bitcoin. They can't afford to take the dollar at some point. And I think Germany with the mark dying, that's a good example. It happened in, a year-ish. And that was a non-digital thing. So I think it'll be faster for the dollar to fail. But until that happens, it does feel like Bitcoin is extending it by integrating with it in some ways. If you look at all the warning signs, it is all there for anyone to see plain as day. There is infinite money now. Someone from the Federal Reserve said that in a clip before. But, there's infinite money in the Federal Reserve. But it's true now, and you're seeing signs of that. If you look at the Bitcoin treasury companies like Strategy, they're borrowing at 0%, right? They're effectively tapping into the infinite money out there and converting it to Bitcoin. And the question is, when do people figure this out? And I think when people figure out this, that you could basically, invest, I don't know, $40,000 and start making back your annual salary free, I think a lot of money is going to flow to Bitcoin. Some of it will flow to other things like high time preference activities, but a lot of it will flow to Bitcoin once people figure out that there is infinite money out there and anybody can tap into it. Hard to say. I think we should have been here already. So
Yeah.
I would have thought that the ETFs opening the floodgates combined with strategy would have gotten us there already. And this is why I'm one of the believers that there is paper Bitcoin out there dampening the market. So we'll see. But, nothing stops the train. It's going to go. The dollar is going to keep on inflating and Bitcoin is going to keep going up. It's just a question of when it all converges. I think like the 80,000 coins that were market sold is a good indicator that the market doesn't care about anything now. Like, there's just too much power behind accumulation, whether it's strategy or other Bitcoin treasury companies or hodlers or ETF buyers too. There's just a massive amount of insatiable demand, and the demand is only going to go up. I think it's fully possible. I mean, that's like an omega candle every month or so, and that's in line with my prediction that we're going to go to 1 million fast. See, even Saylor thinks so. Like, it's going to be fast and violent, no matter how you slice and dice it, right? If you say his prediction, if you take his prediction in the least violent way, that is like 10 omega candles a year, right? And that's 1 million in a year. That is the least violent thing. Anything else is utter, unspeakable financial market violence. Like, that's like, $1 million candle in a year, or a $2 million candle in 2 years, and then rapid ascension upwards. And that's all in line with Max Payne theory. So I agree.
Yeah.
Like, that, what he just quantified it in numbers, 21, 21, 21, but I've quantified it in words with omega candles and Max Payne theory. But it's the same packaged differently. Treat your Bitcoin as if it was 10 times more valuable or 100 times more valuable than it is. Secure it, make sure that you're trying to stay as private as you can. Use the privacy tools afforded to you. Just plan as if your holdings are 100 times more valuable, and then you'll be in a good place.
On the mining front, Mow makes a compelling point. Energy generation and Bitcoin mining will eventually merge. National utilities will mine Bitcoin. Why? Because it's profitable, stabilizes grids, and monetizes excess energy. Countries like Bhutan have already proven it, mining Bitcoin and quietly building billion-dollar reserves. Through his firm, Jan3, Mow is actively working with governments to create pilot programs, not from the top down, but from the ground up.
It can be done, just like anything can be done, right? The only thing that can't be done is printing Bitcoin out of thin air, but anything else is possible. So I've talked about rebasing to Bitcoin and just setting an exchange rate of 1 sat to $1. And that just takes a politician, maybe it's Trump, I don't know, but somebody just to say, we'll let you redeem your debt for this. And that's it. I mean, how do you peg a dollar to gold? It's by decree. And pegging a currency to Bitcoin is the same. It just depends on the motivations and the necessity of doing so. I think when things get bad enough, every card is on the table, and we're seeing this, right? Some of those cards are bad cards. It's the rolling out of a CBDC like in Europe, or starting to control the internet like in the UK. There are things that are happening, and you can see these things happening are a direct response to other things that they're trying to mitigate or distract you from. So there are a lot of, just take the UK as an example, there are a lot of societal problems. And now they're focusing on this one particular thing, which doesn't do anything for the other problems, but it definitely distracts and gets people enraged. But it just goes to show, like, every card is on the table now. But that rebasing the Bitcoin card is also, it's in the hands, and it can be played at any time. And that's why I say plan accordingly, because you have to be ready for when these things happen. And the best thing to do to be ready is to be in Bitcoin. Well, if not the federal level, definitely at the state level. And you're already seeing a lot of that happening in Texas. But I've said this for, 6-7 years now. But eventually mining and energy generation is just the same thing. It's two sides of the same coin. So if you have a national utility, they're going to mine Bitcoin just because it makes sense to do so, even from a grid management perspective. The monetary upside is just icing on the cake. And as people understand what Bhutan did, mining Bitcoin and getting $1 billion in Bitcoin in their reserve, more people will do that. And that's something we're trying to do now at Jan3. We're trying to engage with governments to start small pilot projects. We found that this might be a better strategy than engaging at the very top and, meeting with the president or prime minister and trying to get him to do something, because it's really hard to get them to do something, not just not just at an intellectual level, but at an execution level too, for the reasons I said before. It's hard to do things in any government. Well, it's also a tool. So for Gen3, we like to work on nation state adoption. So we can go to other countries and say, hey, look at the SBR. And they're not going to ask, like, did they do anything? And we're not going to tell them that, but we'll say, hey, did that. So why don't you do that too? And if you get enough people doing that, passing legislation, creating things like a framework for an SBR, eventually one of them is going to execute on that.
Yeah. Is it possible that the United States government is acquiring Bitcoin quietly? Because you'd think there'd be an incentive to do so. If they announce a purchase, there's that Omega candle. I
don't think it's possible. It's hard for any government to do stuff in secret. Well, things that are beneficial for the country, it's hard for them to do it in secret. Other things, it's much easier. Like, you could do a lot of things in secret, but for something like Bitcoin, like an asset, it would be like saying, can you buy gold in secret? It's probably hard. You need to, because it's part of the financial system and you have to be all above board, right? Like, where did you buy from? How is it custodied? There's a ton of questions that have to be answered. Like, it can't just be Trump directing someone in some agency to buy and send it to his Blockstream Jade wallet on his desk, right? There's got to be more controls and process in place for something like that. So I think it's really hard for a country to sneakily buy Bitcoin, even though they should. But I think it's hard. Just like it's hard for them to get to the point where they can't even buy, right? Like the city of Vancouver, Mayor Ken Sim has said that he wants the city to buy Bitcoin for its treasury, for its reserves. But he's said, like, there's 2 years of red tape he's got to go through to even get to that point. So, the answer is they could do it in theory, but in reality, they probably need to go through and cross the T's and dot the I's before they can really buy Bitcoin.
One final question. Could the U.S. government be secretly buying Bitcoin? Mow's answer, highly unlikely. It's extremely difficult for a government to quietly accumulate Bitcoin. There are regulations, accountability, custody concerns. It's not as simple as send Bitcoin to a wallet. Even in cities like Vancouver, proposals to buy Bitcoin take years of red tape. In theory, yes, the U.S. could benefit massively from accumulating Bitcoin.